Hello, thank you for
Hi.
being here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Taylor McCafferty. I am the new intervention program manager and the JRB case manager here at the Youth Agency.
Nice, what does that mean?
Well, that means a lot of different things. First and foremost, that means that I'm in charge of stepping in when something needs to be done, right? So when we're having these youth come in, we're having kids here that they're starting to go down a wrong path, or they're starting to fall into these negative choices, that's when we can step in and say, hold on, maybe we can do something different here.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is so amazing about a program like this.
Yeah. Is that what made you want to become one in the first place?
Yeah, so I'm actually a licensed alcohol and drug counselor. And previously I worked with adults in the Waterbury Superior Court. It was a similar kind of thing, but I noticed that we were intervening a little bit too late at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to be in a position where I can step in a little bit sooner, I can do something that's gonna make probably a bigger difference, means all the world to me.
Yeah, yeah. What would you say are some qualities that you would need to become an intervention manager?
It takes empathy, big time. And it takes a really, really good understanding of systemic barriers. It takes a really good understanding of the world at large.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to speak to people, right, and understand where they're coming from. Because if I'm working with a 17-year-old that thinks I'm just this brick wall and not someone that they can speak to, what difference am I gonna make?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Why is it such an important job other than like the obvious of like helping people?
Well, it's also important for the community at large, right? If you have a whole bunch of kids that are running around rampant, doing whatever they want, nobody's happy.
Yeah.
Right? But if you take these same set of kids, you put them into more positive things, they're giving back to their community. Parents are happy, kids are happy, teachers are happy. Even people who have nothing to do with those kids are benefiting from the fact that we have a whole group that wants to give back.
Yeah. So what is a JRB?
JRB stands for Juvenile Review Board. And what that means is we have a group of people from the community who all come together. And they can be all different kinds of people. They can be parents. They can be school personnel, right? Like our counselors. They can be our police officers, probation officers, people like me, right? Our counselors and other things. And we all come together and we look at a specific case. So we have a youth that comes in that's committed a low-level offense. Nothing crazy, nothing out of this world. And we look at all the little details. We're not just looking at what happened, but what led up to it. A lot of times, with the juvenile justice system specifically, they don't see the bullying that came before a fight. They don't see the rough home life that came before whatever it is that happened. We look at those things. And by getting a group of people together to look at those things, we get a lot of different perspectives. We get to gather a whole bunch of resources and knowledge, and we get to take this situation and restore it to what it was before. And in doing that, we're benefiting the youth that's before us. We're benefiting any victims in the case, right? Were they fighting with someone else? Did they steal something from somebody? How do we make it right for them and bring it so that we're at this lower level and we bring it back up to where it should be?
How is this a better or more positive way to sort of combat these issues?
There's a lot of research that shows this is the direction that we need to be going in. There's a program specifically in Seattle. It's called the LEAD program. That's the Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion Program. That one's specifically for adults, but a lot of that stuff is applicable to any age. And what they found with programs like that is when you take people that have committed an offense, you don't put them through the criminal justice system, and instead you connect them to social services. Is there housing issues? Is there employment issues? Does this person need counseling or medication? You get them connected with those things instead of having a record, not being able to find a job because they have a pending court case going on. And those crime rates just plummet. They drop completely. A lot of times, in what I've found, is that we're not just out here committing crimes for no reason. right? It's not because it's fun. It's not because that's just what we want to spend our life doing, but we have a need that needs to be addressed. And once that need is addressed, it's just up from there.
How is your process different from like the ordinary juvenile process?
We meet people where they're at. What tends to happen within the criminal justice system at large, not even just the juvenile justice system, is there's a one-size-fits-all approach to everything. You have probation officers and court employees that just want to check off on a checklist, like, oh, this person did this and this and this and this. They don't really, I don't want to say they don't care, but they're not paying attention to what those individual needs are.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. What made you want to choose the New Milford Youth Agency? Like, why did you come here?
So New Milford Youth Agency specifically is one of like the forerunners when it comes to youth diversion, youth jail diversion. We are at the top of our game. We have a really solid foundation. We also have a lot of buy-in from the town altogether. We work with the police officers, we work with the mayor, we work with so many different agencies that you don't see in a lot of other locations. And I could be wrong here, but I believe that New Milford is one of the only locations, it might be the only location that actually has this position as a full-time job versus as just volunteers that come in when they're available.
Yeah. What makes this job rewarding or sort of challenging?
Well, there's definitely both sides to that coin.
Yeah.
Rewarding is when you get to the end of a case and you see that there's been a genuine benefit, right? You see a kid that's doing so much better. You see parents that are so much happier. And you see that they continue on to do great things without you being involved. Challenging, we go back to those systemic barriers, right?
Yeah.
I am one person. I can't go in and tell the governor of the state to change these statutes that demand certain things of the justice system. I can't go to the courts and tell these probation officers, like, you need to send me that kid because I could do better than you, right? So you have all these things that you want to do, and it takes time before you can make those changes really come into play.
Yeah. How has this job sort of changed your opinion or viewpoint about these teens that are struggling?
People don't give kids enough credit. I'm gonna be so for real with that. Like, even when it comes to adults that are still in that young adult stage, they look back on their own childhood and they think like, wow, I was so young and dumb. Like, I can't imagine giving any sort of leadership or any sort of like authority to someone when I was that age. But when you're given the right tools, the right skills, and the right support, age doesn't matter. And you can accomplish so much. That's my opinion. I would keep it at that. But I really think that people don't have that understanding, and I'm really glad to see that for myself.
Yeah. Is there sort of like a piece of advice you want to share about maybe someone who wants to do this?
I would say you need to follow your heart with it. The biggest thing is that if you are not telling other people around you what you have going on within yourself and within your own mind, no one in this world is a mind reader. Life would be so much easier if we were. But if you are not speaking up, no one is understanding what's happening within you. And once somebody knows what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you want, they can point you in the right direction. You can be connected with somebody who can help you to do that thing. But otherwise it's gonna sit there just in the void with no one doing anything about it. So that's my biggest piece of advice, is to always speak your mind and always talk to people about what you have going on.
Do you have questions for us or anything else to add?
I think it's so important for me to know what the youth of this community think is important, right? What do you think needs to be changed? What kind of support do you think that you need?
Yeah. I mean, I think your job and what you're doing is so great for our community and for students and, you know, everyone in our community. So yeah, I think just what you're doing is really great. And thank you so much for talking with us today.
Of course.